Hi guys, welcome to the Music B&B. I am Callum, and today I am joined by Prys. Say hi, Prys.
Hello, what's up, everyone?
Would you be able to give us a bit of background about yourself before we get into anything
Uh,
else?
well, I'm 20 years old. Uh, I've been from the UK. I'm from South Wales. I've been making music since I was 15 years old, and yes, I just love doing music. Like it's just my love, like my passion.
Fantastic. So how did you first get into music then?
Well, I got into music when I was in school, as I remember when I was 15 years old. It was kind of quite popular in my school. Like everyone really liked music they did. And I remember the reason I did it was trying to like impress girls. That's how it all started. I was like, oh yeah, let me try and impress girls. Didn't work out ever. I was really, really bad when I first like started out. I was horrific. Like I used to like voice crack and like, it used to be so bad. But uh, I then ended up actually liking it because originally I didn't like it when I first started. I did it for all the wrong reasons, but then I
Right.
found like a love for it, like unintentionally. I was like, oh my God, I actually like this. Like,
Was it taking up an instrument or was it just creating music? How did you
act-
approach?
yeah, yeah. Actually, the way I started, I had a little like acoustic guitar that I remember
Always the
buying it.
way.
Yeah. I bought like an acoustic guitar then, and I remember one day I was in school and I performed in front of my class. I did like they wanted me to bring in my guitar and I was like playing the guitar singing. I was really bad at the time, but yeah, it was that's how it all began. Like
Oh, I love all those days. It's like every boy is like, how do I impress girls? Let's get an acoustic
yeah.
guitar. Let's start that way. Um, Fantastic though. I mean, it's interesting to hear that that was a thing in your school. I've never heard of like, and the schools I went to, I've never heard of a school where like music was the thing, you know. So it's
Yeah.
interesting that that was a big thing in your school.
Yeah, it's like it's a bit weird because everyone's really like obviously like, everyone likes music, right? But I noticed there was this kind of this thing where everyone wanted to be an artist. I noticed in my school like everyone wanted to be like a singer or like a rapper or like a pianist, and I did find it a bit weird, but I noticed that's what people like. Like
I was gonna say, like most schools, it's like I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a gamer, I want to like those are the professions that people want to go in. But that's quite good to have that kind of influence around you. Like people are into that.
Hmm.
Um, so what artists are you typically like influenced by?
Oh, see, the artist I'm inspired by has changed throughout the years. Originally it was Shawn Mendes because I remember all the girls back then used to love
Nice.
Shawn Mendes. I was trying to do like Shawn Mendes, like cover. Then it was like James Arthur, like Travis Scott. Now Travis Scott, anyways, like Travis Scott, Juice WRLD, XXX Tentacion, just all artists like melodic rappers and that.
Oh, right. Oh, very nice. Yeah. Nice to hear it's changing over the time. So you started with like the acoustic stuff and then you kind of gone into more like maybe the trap kind of
Melodic,
melodic stuff. Yeah.
melodic, yeah.
So what how would you describe the music that you typically create then?
I'm, I can't categorize myself. I do everything. I mean everything. Like I've made scream or I made melodic rap. I made literally pretty much everything. Like I mean released or ever finished. Like
Wow. And Screamo too. So you into a bit of the sort of like metalcore kind of scene or
not really. I remember at one point I did like rock music and screamo, but the reason I
yeah.
wanted to learn it was because I used to struggle like singing high notes and that, so I thought if I learn how to scream and that, like it'll make my life easier. And it
Yeah.
kind of worked.
Yeah. Kind of works. Well, it's cool that you kind of dip your toes into
Yeah.
lots of different things. And like say, people with maybe your kind of musical
Hmm.
taste, I wouldn't expect to suddenly say I'm doing screamo and so quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've reacted to your single, which is Get to Know You. And I quite
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I really enjoyed listening to that. What was your background for the song? What was your inspiration for that?
So Inspiration was never actually meant to be a song. So I haven't made music in over 2 years because what happened is my old laptop broke it I needed to
Right.
get a new one, but I didn't have the money to buy one at the time. So then the time I did buy a laptop then, that was my first ever song I made, like ever after 2 years. Like I was like, oh, let me get back into it. And all I was doing, I was literally just testing my microphone. That's all I was doing. And I went back, I was like, oh, this actually kind of sounds good. I was like, I kind of like this. And I wish I had monitors at the time because I couldn't mix master tidy, so I had to do all my headphones and I kind of made it work. Like,
Yeah. There's nothing worse from going between like one computer to another when you've got all your stuff on one of them. Um, so it's quite cool that you kind
oh
of
yeah, yeah. I
work
had
between them.
so many songs on my old one, man. I had so many, and I lost all of them. It
Ah, it
kills me to
sucks.
stay.
Yeah, my last map was the same. Like I've got a whole library there, and I still think about it from time to time. I wish I could go back to that song. I was halfway through it, and I left it for too many years, and never be able to see it again. So yeah, that can be frustrating. So who would be interested
Yeah.
in this song? What's it about? Who's it for?
So, well, it doesn't really have any like meaning. I made it. It was literally just to test the microphone, but I guess it could be subjective to each person. Right? For me, it doesn't have much. I just made it because it sounded cool. It sounds cool, but
Yeah,
to get to know behind it though, I did come up with a bit of an idea where it's about a guy basically talking to a girl that is obsessed with him and that he doesn't want to get to know her. I would I want to know who do you bring to me? That's kind of
yeah.
what it turned into because originally that's not what it was, but that's what it ended up turning into.
Right. So that goes nicely to the next thing. What's your like creative process like? Do you just start by making anything
Yeah.
and then it evolves, or do you have an idea? Where do you go?
So crazy as this sounds, right? This is my creative process, right? I actually don't write any of my stuff, right? So this is how I do it, right? I basically like do you know anything about like recording? Like have you ever like do you know about anything about like music recording, like vocal?
Oh yeah, I've got a degree in music technology, so I do a lot of stuff on Logic Pro.
Okay, so this is what I do, right? I do, like vocal comping. So what I do is I'll sit on the mic, I'll sing, let's say, like a line, right?
Yeah.
And then when I sing the line and it sounds good, I'll then come up with a word in my head that rhymes after that, and then I have a next line and the next line, and then that's how I record my music. Like I just rhyme whatever comes next. I don't do it all in like one take, but
Yeah.
that's how I normally come up with it. And sometimes like I'll like hum the music.
Right. So you sound a bit like what I do, to be honest. I'll have like my music, my beat, whatever, and then I'll be like, right, I need to come with lyrics now. So I'll come with something and go, okay, what rhymes with that? And I'll just record the next bit. I tend to do that quite a bit. But sometimes I'll just have something that comes to me and right, I already know it. Like sometimes it just falls into place. Do you ever get that at all where something just what it is?
Yeah, I can listen to like an instrumental and think to myself, will this be like, a sad song, a happy song with this, you know, like I can come up with stuff like that, but it's not normally the way I approach it because I just like the freestyle everything. I have tried writing music in the past, it just doesn't
Mm.
work out for me though, because I lose like the motivation to like then record it. Like the time I wrote the lyrics, I no longer want to do that like song. Like
So you like more just like going along with it, almost like you're there as part of the
yeah,
creation,
yeah,
go
yeah,
moving along in each step. I like that. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so if there was anyone if you could convince someone to listen to this song, what would you say is like unique, special about it, like that?
I think the thing that makes us unique and special, to be honest with you, was the fact that I'd say I have quite a unique voice because I've not met anyone with my voice type because I have tried people similar. I can't think of it to come to mind into because everyone has a unique. Some people sound similar. I can't think of any one like some like hard like it stresses me out a bit, and it's just the way I kind of like mumble sing. I don't like sing. I kind of like kind of just come up with these while speaking. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird thing to explain. I haven't seen people do it my way. Like,
That's nice though. I mean, it's good to have a unique voice as an artist because you can
mm,
be at like risk of being some people being like, oh, he sounds like so and so. He sounds like so and so, and then you just end up being like
Mm,
cast into that. Whereas you could be like, right, I sound like me, and that's quite nice, and people can connect with
mm.
that a different voice. So would you say that's a reason to get people to listen to your music, your voice over everything else?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Because this would have heard anything like it because not many people like sound like me, in my opinion, when it comes to the way I approach music. Like the type of instrumentals I sing over, I don't really hear anyone singing over those type of instrumentals. With hard hitting beats with like just casual singing. I just don't hear it anyway. Like, and it's kind of a shame, really. I'd love to hear it more. Like,
I mean, sometimes, I mean, as artists, we won't really admit it, but we like our own music, don't we? Like, if I when I and I'm a big sinner for this, but I'll choose to listen to my music over any music when I'm like on my way to work or whatever.
yeah,
And it sounds so egotistical, but most of the time I'm just analyzing it. But I think you have to be you're the biggest fan of you. I think you have to be that, don't you, as an artist? Because if you're not
yeah,
enjoying the music
exactly.
you're making, why are you
It's
making
one
it?
of those things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't like your own music, who else is like it if you can't even like yourself? That's how I think about it, anyways. If you like it, who else is gonna like it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And as long as you like it, if anyone else likes it and connects with it,
Mm,
great. But as long as you're making it for you and you're happy
mm,
doing it, then that's what's important. So do you have
yeah.
you have other music? Would you be able to take us briefly through other projects you've done, maybe some of your favorites?
So the two projects I have uploaded. I have a song called "Hate Me." I collabed with someone. I think his name was No Love Matt. He's changed his name for years, he has. But I have a song called "Hate Me." That was like my first ever song that I uploaded onto Spotify and all platforms. It was like a Kindle melodic type of rap thing. That was one of my favorite songs, but I notice everyone that listens to my music, for some reason, I hate the song. I've considered taking it down because I just hate it. Is Blood on My Nikes because I don't know why everyone likes it. I don't like it myself. I have considered taking it down. Like it just does my head and I've heard it too much, man.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, isn't it, with like your first songs is you've heard it to death, and it's the same with like lots of like really big bands and artists out there that when everyone's like, "Oh, play this song," you're just like, "No, don't want to do it. I've heard it too many times."
Because
Um,
literally, because literally, what it is, I go to college. I do that's right. Everyone knows in my college I make music. I do like a music course. I do, and it's absolutely nuts, right? Because for the last God, how many years? Two years, people have been just playing my own music, and I hear it where in my classrooms, and like my classmates loving it. It just drives me nuts. Like I just have one song. It's always that one though, isn't it? It's nothing else. Like it drives me.
I mean, that's pretty nice though. You've got people around you and friends that are supporting you, even if they are playing the song you don't want them to play. That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
So have you ever like you talked about performing music on guitar when you were like 15 or 16 or something. Have you ever performed any of this
Yeah.
music that you've released?
Um, what you mean like live, is it? Like live?
Yeah, perhaps live, yeah, maybe playing a beat or
Yeah. I performed one of them live. I performed the Blood Man Like one live. It was a gig I did. I think it was like, was it Jack's? I think it like called Jack's or something. It was a gig. It was part of my college, and I performed one of my songs I did, and I did like an acoustic version of Blood on My Nikes, and that did quite recently well. Like,
nice.
so it was a like,
Would you
I
plan
personally, it's
to
not my type of cup of tea, like, but
No, same with me. Like, I don't really. I make stuff. We like. I like being a bedroom producer, but yeah, going to perform is different.
yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
changed anyway these days.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
more like people make their stuff at home, and then if it gets popular, then they start
Mm.
touring. Whereas it used to be the other way around. You tour to get people to buy your CDs and listen, and then
Yeah, yeah.
so it's completely different these days, and more people are doing that and then touring when they're popular. So
Mm.
yeah. So how do you feel the internet has impacted your approach to being an artist?
I feel like it's like it's affecting me positively and it's also affecting me negatively, right, when it comes to the internet because there's so much information and stuff and so much that happens on the news that it can affect your mood on the day or your approach to a song. Like when I like like YouTube tutorials and that, like everyone will say different things from one another. Like when you're trying to
Yeah,
learn how to mix or master or record, or someone will say, "Oh, do it this way or do it that way," and it confuses you. Then it takes away process and
yeah,
information. There's a lot of bad information too.
yeah. There definitely is. Yeah, I found that
Yeah.
it's there's lots more music being put out there, which is great. There's so many independent artists,
Mm.
and it's so easy and practically free to do that, which is a great thing. But then, do you feel like you're kind of oversaturated, like you're in an oversaturated market at all?
Yeah, I do think now, because equipment is so affordable nowadays. Anyone can really record music at all because of that. So much competition.
Yeah,
But the way I go, is not everyone's really like putting music out. I know a lot of people, man, but they don't release any music. So it depends really. It depends how you look at it.
yeah, it really does, doesn't it? So what's next for you then? What you think of doing next? Is it just creating more music, trying to get your friends to listen to a different song other than Blood of My Nikes? Or
Yeah, well, the thing, the thing that I got planned next is I got a music video coming out for the song "Get to Know
oh, nice, nice,
You." It's an AI video, like an AI. Yeah, it's like an AI music video. I then got a feature. What's his name? Luna. It's some artist I'm collabing with. That's coming out on the 14th of July.
nice.
Called I think is Selling Out. I think it is. And then after that, I'm gonna make some more music, release another song, maybe release another five or something, and then have a break, and then call it like a year maybe, and then release more music.
Yeah. Are you going for more of like the single EP kind of approach that people are doing these days over albums?
It's hard because I do want to do an album, but it's like it's like I struggle with like albums. I do trying to like stay on topic or like
That's so
to
much
make it
work.
feel like it belongs in an album. I like doing yeah. I
You
don't know. It's
get
hard to
you
say,
could make
man.
an
Like
EP where there's like
I
a
do
certain sound, and then you can do singles that have a certain sound. But if you try and do an album, it's got to sound the same throughout. That's well, it doesn't have to sound the same throughout.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
has to sound a
yeah,
little bit the same throughout, doesn't it? So that can be quite tricky.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Can be,
Okay.
yeah. Because the thing, see, I do so many genres. That's the problem. See,
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, if you're doing singles and EP, that's so much easier because you can just go right next. I want to do
mm.
deathcore mixed with funk, and they'll just you can just do that and it'll be your
Yeah,
next EP, and it won't matter. You can be a bit more flexible. So yeah, I think that's the way to go
mm.
anyway these days, isn't it? Yeah, brilliant. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you for coming on. It's been really, really nice to meet you. So if you haven't listened to it, guys, make sure to listen to the song. The song is called Get to Know You. And if you really like it, make sure to stream it loads of times so it becomes the most popular song instead. I think that'll be really, really good. And then after this as well, you can also check out my
Yeah,
reaction
yeah.
to the song. So that my reaction is also available at the end of this video. Yeah. So thank you for coming on.
Okay, thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was nice talking to you.
Oh, I say.